Cory Booker and Eric Swalwell vowing to pick female running mates in the 2020 election. But if this was a company CEO making a decision on their number two, wouldn't it or shouldn't it be based on ability instead of gender? What do you think?
Absolutely, David. I mean, I am offended on so many different levels, including as a woman. You want to have the best candidate out there, somebody who has the right experience, not somebody who happens to have the right body parts or perhaps identifies with having the right body parts. And it's very interesting to me. The left is so focused on all of these, marginalized communities and minorities. But at the end of the day, the smallest minority on earth is the individual. That's what they should be focusing on. They should be focusing on the merit of the individual. That's American, and I think it's ultimately going to hurt them that they don't.
Yeah, I agree that I would take offense to it, because then I would always wonder, why did I get into a position? Is it because I'm a woman and there are too many men? This is a case of affirmative action that comes up quite a bit, because we talk about boards in America, corporate boards, and whether there should be an increase in the level of women that are joining the boards. I think existing laws in place do create a relatively equal playing ground, but there's still an issue. And the issue is that there are not enough women that can qualify for these boards, maybe not for presidential election. And I think we need to go talk about that problem. Like, why aren't the women climbing up there? Why aren't the women trying to go for president? What is causing that to stop, as opposed to just saying, hey, you're a woman and I'm going to run with you? Like, I don't like that.
Both of these gentlemen left out a line they were supposed to say before all that, and that is, I need the female vote, so I'm going to pander and just say I'm going to have a woman for vice president. Look, that's all this is about. It should be the best person possible. If it is a woman, God bless them. The three young ladies here on the show with me today, I'd vote for all three of them to run this country better than some of these people. So let's do it.
Look, I mean, I think what's really offensive is the assumption that none of the women who are running on the Democratic side are going to make it to the final hurdle, because there are plenty of them, right? Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Kirsten Gillibrand, Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, guess what? All those people, the next time they're asked by a reporter, they said, I really think I should have a man as a running mate, and see how that goes.
Oh, that would be so good. That would be that's such a good point. That's such a good point.
Well, what about that, though? I mean, the fact that Biden is the number one runner right now. I mean, things could change over the course of a political season. He's already made a couple of stumbles, but is it too early for him to announce the same thing?
The president
I just don't think he should do it. I don't think that he should do it. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen, and I think there are a lot of women in the field who could certainly move up and end up being one of the front runners, and I don't think that it's a good thing to be pandering at this point in time. I do think people will see right through that, and it will end up backfiring. So not to offer free advice, but I certainly wouldn't be doing that.
Wait, you wouldn't, if you were Joe Biden, you wouldn't hire, or you wouldn't want a woman to run with you because of the backlash about him being too touchy-feely? Is that what you're saying?
No, not being touchy-feely, about pandering to women and making it so opaque that this is not authentic, that he's not picking the best person, that he's just trying to pick somebody to be that, token check-the-box candidate.
Well, unfortunately, he has already apparently decided that it's Kamala Harris if he gets the nomination, or at least that's the talking point. There are various representatives have met several times. Yeah. Exactly. So he's checking lots of boxes.
I have news for you. That would be a great pick if he decides. She has a great resume, a great background, and
well, in the young and the old, it seems to match up pretty nicely. But we have to remember, I mean, it was just the last election that we had a woman running for president. So I mean, it has happened before. We had a vice presidential candidate who was a woman, Geraldine Ferraro, and let's not forget that across the pond, they've already had a very, very successful prime minister who was a woman who did not use her womanhood at all as an advantage. I mean, she was 100% on the merit and the qualities of her character and her administration. So you can do it without pandering.
That's not America, though.
Absolutely. Well, but I will also say to that, we had Hillary Clinton run last time, and she did not lose because she was a woman.
That's exactly
she
right.
lost because she was a terrible candidate.
I agree with you 100%.
By the way, what a concept on the merits. And by the way, next 10, 20 years, I guarantee you, we will have a woman president running this country, and hopefully they do a fantastic job. Right. Don't know who it is, but I'm pretty sure next 10 to 20 years, easy bet.
And you know what? I'm betting that it's going to be from the conservative side rather than from the liberal side. I'm just saying, like Margaret Thatcher, sometimes the United States does follow the tradition of what happens in England. It's different countries. Sometimes it happens.